All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am super excited to introduce one of my, I guess I could say, lifelong friends that we've known each other since we were little.
Yeah.
And been through a lot. Like we made a many runs around some tracks and other stuff together growing up in Louisville, and so excited to have LaToshia here with me today. And if y'all don't know, she has one of the best. She makes some of the best sweets I've had in a long time. So when I head home, I always make sure I stop by Sugar Mama's. But she's got a great story to tell, and I'm super excited about having her join us today. And I'm just going to give her the floor and let her kind of talk about, some of the stuff that she's experienced over the years, some of those wins, some of the learns, and super excited to have her here with us today. So take it away.
All right. Well, hello, everybody. My name is LaToshia Hampton Gladney. I was in Hampton before marriage. Again, Beth is correct. We've known each other our whole lives. And with me, I mean, she did a lot of the running. I was the cheerleader, so you know how that goes. But our lives took a turn or, split up when we graduated high school. Everybody had their own destination or their own vision of what they wanted to do with their life. Of course, mine, before I left high school, I did not want to do what I ended up doing. I wanted to be a lawyer. But I had smaller brothers, so I let my mom use her saved up money to send them to school, and I joined the military. And how crazy it is, I was 89 pounds when I graduated high school, 18 years old. I left 2 weeks after graduation and joined the Air Force. Now, I know you say, little big lady, you can't do a whole lot, but believe me, big things come in little packages. I had to prove that to them. So I literally stayed in the military until I had a medical retirement. I ended up with my first cancer, which was cervical cancer. And that gave me an opportunity to get out. I love the military and all of the opportunities it awarded me. I got to travel all over the world. I have a son and a stepdaughter. Well, we don't say step, she's a bonus daughter. So I had a son doing all of that, but that did not stop me from doing what I really wanted to do. So when I got out of the military, of course, with being sick, I started what I'm doing now, which is baking. I did a little bit here and there. But when I got out, I had to keep food on the table. Baking was a hobby at that time. It did not put money in the house to pay the bills. So I have done everything from call centers, everything from insurance, being an HR manager, contracts and insurance. I've done an array of things, but I've ended up doing what I really wanted to do. I wanted to come back home. And by the way, I've had cancer twice. So my thing with that is no matter what comes your way, you got to make the good out of the bad. That makes sense. My biggest thing was to never give up. My grandmother always used to say that I'm a tough little piece of furniture, and that she is definitely correct. I was not going to let cancer beat me. My second cancer was bladder cancer. And now I am a hero of hope for the Mid-South area. So I'm really big in the American Cancer Society and Relay for Life. So I push that a lot, and which is very important because cancer has taken or has touched everybody's family. And I mean everybody at some point. So, that those are some of the things that and kids. I'll do anything for kids. Just give me the puppy dog eyes, do anything for kids. My husband is also military. He's from Louisville as well. He started in the Marines and ended in the Air Force. And it's crazy because I started in the Air Force and ended in the Army. My son was in the Army. And now our daughter is in her third year at West Point at the military
That
academy.
is
So
awesome.
she finished
And I
her.
don't I don't think that I knew that. I don't think that I knew
Yes,
that.
yes. And believe it or not, I'm a grandmother. As young as I look, I'm a grandmother with two grandbabies. But my daughter, she is spending her spring break this week in Portugal. So I kind of push getting out and seeing the world, things that we only read about or see on television or read about in books. But I do push my nieces and nephews, my kids. There's a huge world out there to see. You can always kind of settle in on what you want to do later. Now, I'm baking. Not just baking from my home, which I was doing in Memphis. I was doing some baking for BB King's, the restaurant in Memphis for a little while. And I was an independent contractor doing so. I decided to come back home to my hometown and give back to the community. We hadn't had a bakery here since we were little kids, and it was a
No, I
little
was gonna
donut
say, I
shop.
was thinking about it. I think it closed years ago.
Years,
Years
years,
ago.
years. I think we were in like middle school when it closed. But I came back and I wanted to not rent or lease a building from anybody. My husband and I were really big in the stock market and saving money. We decided, we saw this building that we wanted uptown on Main Street because I wanted to be in the middle of everybody. I'm kind of busy like that, but I wanted to be with everybody, and we bought the building and bought a home here as well. So my business, Cupcakes galore. It is cupcakes, cookies, brownies, truffles, you name it. Birthday cakes, you name it, we do it. And when she asked me about my story, there were so many times to where, with me being sick, my husband had to take care of me. And unfortunately, bills still come whether I'm working or not, honestly. If you don't have faith in God, something like that will surely get you on that path. And that's just being honest. Yes, it will. And I tell my son all the time, it's plenty of time that God could have taken me, that I could have been out of here. But I'm here because there's a purpose. There's a purpose. There's a purpose for me being here. And my husband and I here, what we do, we donate. My sister-in-law works for Kellogg's in Memphis. So we get a lot of cereal, a lot of those big bags of cereal. We don't eat that stuff. But I definitely donated to all of the daycares here in the Winston County, the Louisville area, because those are our kids.
Yeah.
Those are our kids. And with the recent events that's going on here in the city, I try to make sure that we open our doors to have little meetings with young men, young girls, and get them on the right track with life lessons and life stories. Now, I used to be a recruiter for the Army as well. I don't believe in giving them the highs and not the lows.
Yep.
I am a big person to relate to people. I don't want people to see me now at the store and say, oh, she's rich or she's always been up here. That has not been the case. I mean, I've been at places being a single mom for 16 years. I've gone through some rough patches, At one point, my lights were turned off. At one point, I didn't have a car and things of that nature. But it's more of starting young. And that's something our parents didn't really teach us.
Yep.
When we were growing up, our parents didn't really teach us about savings and stocks and, things of that nature to get you set up for the future.
And
it was just more of, we're going to get these kids out of here.
Yeah, they don't teach us
definitely not taught there
all the time. Like there's so many things, finances and real life experiences and those type things that are just, truly is missing.
It is, don't get me wrong. And I have a college degree. Of course, the military gave me that option to, go to school and they paid and things of that nature. But my college degree isn't nowhere near in what I'm doing, honestly. So, I tell a lot of kids here, not everybody's going to college. Some people are just going to go straight into the workforce. And even with going to college, be smart about it. Don't get yourself in a lot of debt that when you get out with that pretty little piece of paper, spending the rest of your life paying for it, paying that student loan off. I am a big believer in working while you're in high school, if you can. Work and kind of help yourself off a little bit. So I'm going to tell you how my son's father with stocks. When we joined the military at 18, he was going to put $50 back a paycheck, right? That's $100 a month because we got paid twice a month. As we progressed in rank, he upped it to $100, $200 here, $400 here, the whole nine. Now he is 48. He is a contractor for himself and he does cybersecurity. My husband is only 51 and he is retired and he goes and does whatever he wants to do. I'm 47. I'm retired. I just bake every day. You kind of have to set yourself up for the long haul. But even in business, every day is not a good day here. I'm just going to be honest with you. Before I open these doors up, Beth, I'm telling you, I think I pulled out all the little hair that I really had left. I think I had pulled almost all of it out. Between getting it together here and the Department of Health trying to get me open, I was gonna quit, but I'm not. So the thing was for me to push for. Once these doors open, don't get me wrong, everybody here likes to eat cupcakes and cakes and pies. They don't discriminate against that stuff.
Right.
But a person can eat that every day or every week. We're in a generation of people that have high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol. So having cupcakes every day is probably not something people want to do. Right. But I have people that actually come and get this stuff every day. Now, I think the biggest thing for me, the struggle for me here, go ahead.
I was going to say, if I'm not mistaken, haven't you added some salads and some other stuff to your menu? Like, I feel like I've been seeing some sneak stuff in there, girl.
I'm trying to help everybody. Not everybody want to do the sweet. So, I do ham sandwich, turkey sandwiches, and homemade chicken salad sandwiches. And I also provide salads, so it's kind of like a one-stop shop. Right. Come in here throughout the day and just grab something and go. If you just want one cupcake, one cookie, and and keep it moving. I try to do it like that. I didn't want something that I have to be in my kitchen all the time, which, now don't get me wrong, I love baking in my kitchen, but I didn't want to do the other stuff, no burgers or anything like that. Right. I love the smell of cakes and cupcakes and cookies. So that's all I wanted to be surrounded by. But I've had some struggles. On Monday, I may do $100. Next Monday, I may do $700. Not everybody come in there. So you kind of have to manage your time, manage your business to a way to where all of your costs are covered, because people just see the pretty cupcake go out the door. They don't understand the struggle. I am in here at 5 a.m. I don't leave here till 6:30 p.m. And I am here whether it's raining, snowing, whether the employees walk out, I am still here. And a lot of business owners, they think they can just work a 9 to 5. You don't have a 9 to 5 as a business owner.
Nope.
You work 24/7. I am working Sundays. Yes, every day that I'm off out of the store, I'm working.
Y'all added in some classes too, right?
Yes. And that's so crazy. I just keep adding. So I do cake decorating classes for adults on the first Saturdays of the month, and I do them for kids 10 to 17 on the third Saturdays of the month. So we just had our adult class. We did a Soul Train line, the whole nine. I try to keep it fun. So with my kids on the 18th, our whole theme is Candyland. So we're gonna have a bunch of little cakes with a whole bunch of candy. Right. I know. So I try to do things to kind of keep people involved. Yes, but I get to send them home though. They don't get to stay. They get to go home. And
are the parents full aware of what is planned for that day?
They are. And the crazy part is every person that joins, that does the class, they go home with a cake. So they have sugar galore when they leave here. They have cake, cupcakes, all kinds of stuff when they leave here. mean, go home and rattle your parents' nerves, you know what I'm saying? But
Oh,
but I love what I do. It's just, I wouldn't change it for nothing, Beth. Not one thing I wouldn't change about the business. Even the heartaches, even the headaches, the stress. And then here it is tomorrow. I'm getting ready to have surgery on my wrist. And that's all I use in here all every day. But hurt or not, surgery or not, on Friday, I will be back at work at 5 a.m. I don't care how much that wrist hurts. I will be back at work because I have a business to run. And I think about it, the people that work here with me, and it's pretty much my family, they rely on the money from here to take care of their families. I'm not struggling for anything right now, but I know it could be life or death for them. I learned that as a HR manager. If it's my money, it's my money. But when I'm over someone else's money, I have to look at what impact that does, you know, for their family. I can't just call out because I don't feel like coming. That's just not going to happen. It's just
no.
not going to happen. I
And I
don't
think,
think when the water was messed up, was all serious, I still tried to come to work. I was like, I can't work. I can't work. But I was still in the building. Still
yeah.
in the building.
But that goes back to,
And I love coming home and see you guys, though.
I said, I think that goes back to, you think about it really, you talked about it earlier, your purpose. God has a purpose for you.
Yeah.
And you're impacting lives. Yes, you got Sugar Mamas and it's got great food and all the desserts that are, literally I think I'm like, give me one of that, give me one of that, and that's not my norm. But I could definitely enjoy some sweets with the best of them. But you think about talking about what the life experiences you've had and the things that you've learned, and you touched on a little bit about growing up. We had great families. I was blessed to have wonderful parents and grandparents, and a grandmother that tried to teach me how to cook. At the time, I did not. Like, I was just like, I'll eat it, but I'm not learning how to cook. Because I mean, now, like, I'm like the chef of the family. Like, I'm all like grilling out and doing all this stuff. Don't know where that came from, but anyway, I guess some of that stuff through osmosis or something came in. But you talked about taking those things that you've learned, and now
Mm-hmm.
you're impacting so many people in the community. The kids, you touched on that,
Absolutely.
being able to work with them and doing work. You've been through something that you will be able to help other people go through, right? Cancer
Absolutely.
times, I can't even imagine, the stress that put on you and your family and those things, right? And then, you talk about being blessed, and, you understand that people depend on you, your employees that work with
Mm-hmm.
you, the people that are there with you every single day depend on you and your business to be successful in order to
Absolutely.
provide for their families. And I think a lot of times, as business owners or managers, especially, we don't just step back and really assess how everything that we do and every decision we make impacts the people that work,
Everybody else. Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
and I
But I'm
think,
gonna tell you what my greatest reward is, Beth, and it's not the money. I have some little kids that come in here, and it's like clockwork on Tuesdays and Fridays of every week, and they look for me when they come in. Do you remember Dana Peterson?
yes.
Her little daughter, well, her daughter works here. Her oldest daughter works here. Now she just started yesterday, but her little daughter is 5 years old. When she comes through the door and she says, "Hey, Miss LaToshia," that is like the highlight of my day. I love that. Or I love when kids come in and be like, "Hey, where's Sugar Mama?" They don't know my real name. They just know me by Sugar Mama. That's what I look forward to. That's the reward for me.
Well, there's an impact.
Honestly.
It's a positive,
Mhm.
right? And you talked about it. There's so much negative. We know in Louisville there has been a lot of positive things that have happened. You know, we're not going to go into
Absolutely.
all the different things that have happened
Right.
in the last month or so. But, you know, from a small town, and Louisville's been through a lot. You think about the tornado even
The
several years
tornado.
back. But the community, it takes people like you and the other people that have gone in and said, hey, we're coming here. We're going to help support this community. This is where we grew up. I love the people here. I want this to be a better place for the kids that are growing up. I want this to be a better place, you know, for us. And I want to be able to help. And, you know, I've seen that with the Chamber of Commerce. I know you're really involved with the Chamber of Commerce. And I think it's very, very on point for you to be downtown, right? Like you said it. You're like, girl, I got to be right in the middle of it, right?
And I know everybody that comes in this door, I either went to school with them or I know their parents, and, you know, even the parents, like your mom, you know, I love to see our old teachers come in here. They book bunco parties in here, and they literally have the best time ever in here playing bunco. I don't really understand the game, but when I can be in my kitchen and I hear them yelling and screaming like they're really at a party, that is like the best thing ever to me.
Well, you know, again, I've definitely, since the first day that I walked in and I realized that you had a business downtown. I think I'd seen it on Facebook. Somebody was promoting it, I think, in our Facebook group. Hey, you got to, if you come to town. And I literally, like, right after, I guess not too long after you opened, came in for the first time. So extremely happy for you. You know, you've done some awesome stuff. You continue to do awesome stuff. I can't wait to see where this story goes and continues to go. And kudos to you for doing so much in the community.
Thank you.
You know, overcoming so many things, you know, and just being a blessing to so many people. So if they need to know how to get in touch with you, at what's the number? What's the Facebook page? How can they get in touch with you?
Well, our Facebook page is Suga Mama's Cupcakes, and that's SugaMoma''S Cupcakes. And our telephone number here in Louisville is 662-705-9700. And we are located at 16477 West Main Street. We're right next to Zach's. Everybody know where Zach's is. You just say next to Zach's. We're right next door. Can't miss it.
Right downtown. You cannot miss it. If you're on downtown,
big pink sign on the wall.
Yeah, you gonna see it. So yeah, what we'll do is we'll make sure we get that. If y'all have any questions for her, you know, feel free, drop it in comments. I'm gonna put a link in the message as well. So thankful to have you here today telling your story. I can't wait to see you soon in Louisville. And if you ever need anything, you know where we're at. And Suga Mama Cupcakes.
Thank you so much, Beth.
No, thank you.